Hey, second graders, this week in garden, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about saving plants from bugs. So we have talked about all different ways of helping our plants, right? We've talked about saving seeds. We've talked about plants as part of our ecosystem. We've talked about how trees can help our environment and how cutting down trees, we can tell maybe how long a tree lived through dendrochronology. We've talked about all sorts of really cool things. But today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how bugs and insects, okay, affect our plants, right? Maybe you have a garden and you went out and you planted some really great lettuce or broccoli and you've been watering it and caring for it, and you came out this morning and you found that it was full of holes. And so you thought, do I really want to eat this lettuce? Well, I don't want to eat that leaf for sure. That's half eaten, right? What did that? So today we're going to talk about some of the good versus bad insects in our garden, because there are a lot of insects that really help our plants. And there are also some that really hurt our plants. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the good versus bad. We're going to get an up-close look. In your garden kit, you have the little bug jar, and inside it, I gave you a freeze-dried grasshopper. And we're going to talk about that and look at that, because one of the most damaging insects is a member of the grasshopper family, okay? And that's the locust. And so we're going to talk about what kind of damage a grasshopper could do. Because I know a lot of you are thinking, I've seen a grasshopper before. I don't think that they could really do that much damage. But guess what? They really can. It's kind of amazing what certain animals can do. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. So if you have this sheet, you're going to go ahead and get it out. If not, grab a whiteboard. Okay? You're going to do kind of like a big T in the middle, and we're going to make a list of good versus bad bugs. Okay? We're going to see how many you guys remember. All right? Because I know we've talked about it before. And then we're going to specifically look at locust, and we're going to be diagramming the body parts of our locust. And yours might not have all of its body parts because, let's be honest, they were in a jar and have gotten kind of thrown around a little bit here and there. All right, but we're going to use the image that's on the sheet because this isn't a totally intact locust, and go over all the different parts of that insect. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about plants and insects, plants and mini beasts, okay? So bugs are, when we say bug, that means usually we're referring to bugs. Bugs eat the sap or the juice from plant stems. So like aphids, okay, which are teeny tiny little bugs that are not good for plants, all right? So that is what we usually mean when we say bugs. For us, we're going to go ahead and say mini beasts because that includes things like arachnids, right? Like spiders, because these aren't insects, okay? They're not bugs, okay? Those are arachnids. Earthworms, right? Those are not insects. They don't have 6 legs, all right? But they're definitely a key part of our garden. So there are both insects that are beneficial to plants and others that are harmful. Good bugs help the plant by eating the bad bugs or helping them pollinate the plant to ensure the species grows. Bad bugs are ones that usually eat or damage the plant and cause it harm. Some questions to ask if you're trying to figure out if a mini beast is helpful or harmful to a plant is, what does it eat? If it eats plants, chances are it's harmful. If it eats bugs, especially bugs that eat plants, chances are it's helpful. If it can pollinate a plant, so like a bee or a butterfly, it would be a good guess that that mini beast is beneficial. If they perform functions to help the soil, like aerating it with tunnels, like an ant, or fertilizing it like a worm, then it's beneficial. Some animals, like spiders, don't really have a huge impact on plants and are neither good nor bad. All right, so I've got some little insects and mini beasts surrounding my paper here, you can see. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to figure out if they're in the good column or the not so good column. Okay, so the first one is this little guy. All right, so the honeybee. He's an insect, right? He's got 6 legs, 3 body parts. He's got wings, okay? Now, is a honeybee a good thing for garden and plants or a not great thing for garden and plants? What is the main purpose that a bee kind of helps plants with? He's flying around, he's getting the nectar, he's getting the pollen. He's helping pollinate the plants, right? And that is a big service for these plants. It helps them reproduce. So we're going to say, yes, a bee is a good thing, okay? And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw it in here. So you can either choose to either draw a picture of your bee or write the word bee. I'm going to write the word bee. Okay. So bee is good. Now let's see. What else do we have? We have a butterfly. Okay, this one's a beautiful example of a butterfly. So can anybody tell me if they think a butterfly is a good or a bad thing? Butterflies help pollinate, similar to bees. So based on that information, what do we think? Yes, it is a good insect. So we're going to go ahead. You can draw your picture of a butterfly here. Okay, it's up to you if you want to draw pictures or words. But so we have bees and butterflies are great things for our garden. They help pollinate our plants. Okay, so let's see. Another thing that might be in your garden kit. Okay, some of you might have this one. What about an ant? I mean, they don't eat plants. Okay, they love your sugar. If you've got like a Honey Nut Cheerios on the table, they'll come and eat it. Okay, but for the most part, they're not really attacking plants. They're kind of indifferent. In Biosphere 2, which was a really cool project that scientists did, they actually used ants to help pollinate some different plants. And their tunnels help aerate the soil, so they help break up the soil and kind of create some air pockets in that soil, which is a good thing. So really, ants are a beneficial insect, okay? So we're going to write ants right there. So, awesome. We've got quite a list going of some really good insects, okay? Let's think of something else that maybe isn't so great. Can we think of a type of animal that likes to eat our plants? I had a couple of them outside today when I did my watering. So snails. Right? So I'm going to draw a picture of a snail. Snails, while I like them and they can be very cute, okay, they will eat our plants. They love to eat my lettuce. They were all over my lettuce this morning when I went out. So I'm going to have a couple, I already have a couple leaves with some holes in them. All right, so that's not great. So these overall snails, not a great thing to find on plants. Okay, something else that's really similar to a snail without a shell. Can anybody think of what I'm talking about? It's really similar. It's a mini beast because it's not an insect. It doesn't have legs. Okay, but another thing that likes to eat my plants are slugs. Oh, okay, which is like a snail. They don't have a little shell on them. Okay, but they're a mini beast. So slugs for sure, not a great thing in the garden. They're a bad thing in our garden for the most part. Another thing, okay, a bad insect, it's actually a bug, is an aphid. Okay, and it sounds like it's AFID, but it's actually a PH that makes it that sound. Aphids, okay, those eat the juice out of the stem of the plant and are bad for the plant. Okay. A beneficial insect that actually will eat the aphids, and that's why they're a really big help, okay, is this guy. What's this guy? Yeah, it's a ladybug, right? So ladybugs can be really beneficial. They'll sell ladybugs for gardeners to buy and put in their garden because they eat the aphids. So ladybugs go over here, okay? Another thing that eats aphid is this guy right here. Can anybody tell me what this guy is? Talked about it a little bit this year. This is a praying mantis, right? So praying mantises can be great to have around your garden. So they are a good bug. Nice. Now, something that's a little confusing, right, is that a ladybug is a beetle. And beetles can be both good and bad. Some of them, like ladybugs that eat aphids, are great in your garden. There are other types of beetles that are not great and they will eat your plants. So beetles can go different places, right? Beetles can go over here in the bad, but they can also be good with certain types. Okay, and then last up, bad. Okay, a specific type that we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is over here, are locust, okay, which is a member of the grasshopper family. So locusts are very bad. They will eat crops. Some that really aren't good nor bad, okay, spiders, right? They're kind of in the middle. They're not good or bad. Spiders, scorpions, crickets, they don't really affect the plants either way. All right? So if you have a spider, a scorpion, a cricket, ooh, a dragonfly, okay? Those are insects that really, it doesn't much matter. They're kind of right in the middle. They're not going to affect it either way. All right, so now we've talked about all the different types of mini beasts out there. Okay, some of the good, some of the bad from our garden, how we protect our plants from them. Okay, we try to not use a lot of pesticides, like especially in our school garden. So that's why we introduce mini beasts that will eat the bad, right? Snails and slugs, they get eaten by birds a lot. So if you've got a lot of snails or slugs, start getting some more bird feeders out there, right? And attract those birds to your yard, and the birds will help take care of the snails and slugs. Aphids, if you need the aphids gone, you introduce more ladybugs or praying mantises, okay? So there's all sorts of different ways to naturally control the good and bad insects and mini beasts in your yard. What we're going to do to kind of round out this lesson is we're going to talk a little bit about locusts, which is a type of grasshopper. So in your jar, okay, in your garden kit, I gave you, if you open it up, this is a freeze-dried grasshopper. So just so you can see the size. If you want to take it out, you can. It's not alive. It's not going to hurt you. Okay, it's missing its legs because its legs are fragile. But you can see this is the body. You can see the head here. You can see an eye right there. Okay, and this is that thorax and abdomen. Okay, you can use the magnifying glass on your bug jar to really kind of get a close-up look at the different body parts. Okay, but we're going to talk about the different parts of the locust. So perhaps one of the most damaging insects to plants is a type of grasshopper called a locust. These insects travel in swarms and eat plants. One locust will eat its weight in plants each day. A swarm of locusts can eat up to 400 million pounds of plants in a single day. That is a lot, my friends. And so that can absolutely decimate, which means just destroy an entire crop that a farmer has spent a lot of money on and a lot of time to get to grow. All right? And so as we think about locusts, we're going to think about the different parts of a locust. All right? So you're going to get a pen out, and we're going to label the different parts of our locust. Okay, so a locust is an insect, which means it has how many legs? It has 6 legs. And grasshoppers, this is a grasshopper leg. It has these huge legs, okay, because they like to jump really high. And they have wings under here too. They'll jump really high and then kind of use their wings to flutter back down. Then they have their antenna here, okay. So we're going to write antenna. So antenna is spelled A-N-T, just like an ant. And then an E-N-N-A-E, antenna. Okay. We've got our antenna up front. We've got this huge legs in the back. And then how many body parts does an insect have? 6 legs, and how many body parts? 3 body parts. Perfect. 3 body parts. So think about the 3 different types of body parts for an insect. Okay, the first one is up here. That's its head. Perfect. All right, the next body part is the middle. Okay, and it starts with a T. Anybody tell me? It rhymes with the word Lorax. That's how I remember it. So just like Dr. Seuss and the Lorax, right? This is the thorax. Thorax. And then what's the back body part called? Does anybody remember? It is the abdomen. Perfect. And so you can go ahead and you can be using your example grasshopper. Okay, this is not a locust, but it's related to locust. Okay, so you're going to see some of the same body parts. All right, you can see on the back of this grasshopper, okay, you can see the wings are kind of folded down, especially if you kind of tilt it and you're really gentle with it. Okay, these are the wings back here. All right. You can see if I flip it kind of upside down, you'll be able to see the 3 body parts a little bit better, right? So this is the abdomen back here. This is the thorax right here, this kind of bump plate that's in the middle. Okay, so right here, this is the thorax. And then this is the head. And you can even see its little mouth. All right, so if you kind of hold it, I'll try to hold it up. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Okay, this is that little mouth right here, that grasshopper's mouth. And then you can see the eye too, right up here. All right, so get to know your little grasshopper here, okay? So you can see, if you use your magnifying glass, you'll be able to see the wings on top, okay? If you want, you can kind of gently poke at it with your finger, all right? But I want you to look and really kind of gain an appreciation for all the different parts of an insect, right? Normally they're moving so fast we can't see the different types of body parts on there. You can see where the legs were attached right here, okay? And I think right here. So again, most of them weren't fully built out because they've been traveling and kind of been in jars and shooken up. These are freeze-dried grasshoppers. So most people feed these to their reptiles. That's why they sell them. So like if you have a lizard or something, it might eat these. Okay, but it's really cool to kind of get an understanding of the different parts of that insect. All right. Okay, you guys. So we have talked a little bit about how you can help control the bad bugs and help save plants, right? Especially in our garden, by introducing good mini beasts like the praying mantis and the ladybug. Okay, we've talked about how other good insects and mini beasts like bees help plants, right? So there's a whole army doing good, ensuring that plants are successful. There's also a huge army of insects and animals that are eating plants, right? And that can decimate plants and crops. So it's good to understand both of them. All right, you guys, way to go. You've got a great understanding of good versus bad. We've talked about the different parts of our locust, right, and our grasshopper, and gotten a really good up-close look at what was in our garden kit. So nice work today. I will see you next time.